North America, and good evening to everybody in the Middle East and Africa, and early evening to those of you in Europe. And first of all, my apologies for the technical problem. It was all on my side, and my apologies. But we are live, and we'll make sure that we really promote the daylights out of this replay for those of you that had to drop off. So thank you for your patience. For those of you tuning in live, let me know where you're tuning in from. And even if you're watching this on replay, please let us know where you're watching from, and feel free to engage with us on any topic that we talk about or anything. But I'm very pleased this evening to have a very special guest with me live from Saudi Arabia. We have Ambreen Nadeem here, and who has kindly given up her Friday evening to join us live on the Packard Network to talk about some really an amazing topic, and as well as a big part of her life's journey as well. And so we're going to get into that in a moment, and the focus of this conversation will really be about how you can take a lot of this information that we're going to be discussed and apply it to hopefully give you, those of you that need it, a new perspective on your purpose and a new way to inspire yourself as well. So that's really what the goal is. And Ambreen, I'd like to just welcome you to the program and thank you very much for coming on tonight.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much, Brett, for having me. It's such an honor to be here live on your show, Packard Network. And I must say that I'm a huge fan of yours because, like, I know that we connected quite a while back, but your content is amazing. I always learn something new, and your content is very insightful. So thank you for having me.
Well, you're most welcome, and I feel the same way about you, and I think that'll become evident to everybody as we progress with this conversation. I'll just take a moment to introduce you, Ambreen. I'd love to. It's really my honor to be able to go through the list of your credentials and your experience, because it's so vast and so unique in my opinion as well. And I don't use those words lightly, because I have a pure global network, and I've had the honor of actually working in most parts of the world, never Saudi Arabia, but extensive experience in the Middle East. And so I have the utmost respect for the journey that you've been on. And so I'd like to take a moment to go through that with everybody, set this conversation up. But Ambreen is an Amazon best-selling author, keynote speaker, and she's passionate about helping people understand the importance of psychology in their day-to-day lives. And she is on a mission to spread awareness and help people deal with mental health issues through counseling, blogs, podcasts, and live programs. She has a master's in industrial psychology. She also worked for Unilever, and she was a customer insight manager, and found a way to take that role and translate it into revenue growth. Okay, all through customer insights. And I think it was like a 5% uplift from her programs at a very, very large company. And that's really somebody, it takes one smart person to be able to do that. She's been working on a project basis with Euromonitor since 2015. She's conducted several research projects for Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Pakistan. And she's even written articles for a very prestigious newspaper in Pakistan that many of you watching this will appreciate, called The Dawn. And that's very prestigious. And I would say The Dawn would be the equivalent of the Wall Street Journal for those of you watching, for those of you in North America seeing this, or the equivalent of the Singapore Straits Times in Singapore, or the equivalent of the Sydney Morning Herald in Australia. I think you kind of get the point here with that. Ambreen is also part of the top 10 rising stars on LinkedIn. If you're not following her, please do that because you'll pick up amazing insight around the topic of psychology and many other things that we're going to be talking about as well. And then last but certainly not least is that Ambreen is a co-founder of Save Lives Project and one of the founding members of the Global Empowerment Summit. Ambreen, I'm going to pause right there, take a sip of water now that we have our technology working, and welcome you again to the program. And if I've left anything out in terms of your credentials, now is a great opportunity. You can throw that in there.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I think it was comprehensive, but I do a lot of other things as well. Like, I do help a lot of women here in Jeddah in Saudi Arabia because I'm really passionate about helping people, especially like women empowerment. I'm doing a lot of work here in Saudi Arabia as well. And like of course, as you mentioned, that I also provide a lot of counseling to people around me. And these are the like few things that I'm doing. So thank you so much for the lovely introduction. You actually covered everything.
Okay, good. That's fantastic. Well, again, it's most impressive the work that you've done, and you and I are going to talk a lot about the work that you're going to do and that you're doing now. Now, you have a book called The Algorithm of Life, which I have seen, read a lot of books in my lifetime. I've seen a lot of book reviews in my lifetime, and but I have seen some of the most powerful endorsements of your book by some of the most prestigious, highly respected people that I have from around the world. And again, from one global person to another, this book has really shaken the world in a positive way. And this algorithm of life, there's a story behind it that's very unique, Ambreen, and it basically you intentionally took, and I want to emphasize the word
Yes.
intentionally took 20 years to write this book. And
Yeah.
you're now going to be talking for most of the rest of this program, but I'd like to kind of open this up by having you maybe explain why you intentionally took 20 years to write this and what were the benefits, the frustrations, the obstacles, the
Yeah.
opportunities, and most importantly, what kept you going for, I mean, that's 2 decades. It's a long time. So over to you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's very interesting
Hmm.
actually. I actually intentionally took 20 years. Okay, so I'll start from the very beginning, like from my childhood. I would say that because I I grew up in a house like a middle class household, and when my actually father lost the job, we faced a lot of financial crisis, and I felt really I felt so depressed at that time that I thought that life can never be better because we were having like luxurious, I would say, lifestyle, or maybe like we were enjoying life, I would say.
Hmm.
But when my father lost the job, because he was given early retirement, and and we faced some very challenging times, and at that point in time I thought that I will never be able to achieve my dreams, and that happened during when I was in my college, or I completed my high school studies, and when I went to college my father lost a job, and I felt so depressed that I would never be able to achieve this because I thought that these financial problems we can never get out from this or get rid of these miseries of life.
Right.
So that point in time, like I decided, I mean, I had so severe depression, I had suicidal thoughts, and I thought that
Hmm.
I think it's better to end the life, and I seriously started thinking of committing suicide. But when I started seriously thinking about it, I started to look actually for some easy solution, that could give me least painful death. So I was looking for some ways where I could end my life in a very easy way. And when during all that process to find out that what could be the easiest way, I actually realized that this is not something that I want to end my life. Actually, I want to end my miseries, and I want to end something that is these painful circumstances or these painful situation which I want to get rid of. It's not something that I'm fed up with my
Hmm.
life. And that got me thinking. That got me thinking that what if that I can change something about these circumstances, and I could do that. And then and I would also like to share here that because I actually used to I'm actually a great palmist as well. I used to read palms at that time also. And
Hmm.
and then when I used to read palms of the people, I used to predict that that's going to happen in the future, and this and this. And that's what actually, that was the main I would say main depressing thoughts, that was the main trigger of depressing thoughts, that when I see that, when I predict future of the people, or when I see that these lines in the palm can actually predict the future the same way. So that was the main reason that I thought that I'm not in control of my life, because that what is written in the destiny, that's gonna happen no matter what. And that was the main reason I thought that it's better to get rid of this miserable life.
Mm.
But at that point in time, actually, I was because if I recall that time, it was very painful, because each day I thought that I don't want literally to be in this situation. I want to end this misery. And but but when I seriously started looking for it, when I seriously thought that I should now end this, I should have the final, final, maybe I started actually writing down my thoughts, because I thought that I'll leave a note or something. But that helped me, that I started writing my thoughts. I realized that this is something that I don't want to get rid of the life. I want to get rid of my thoughts. And then I actually, then I saw that the ants were going, right,
Mhm.
because these were the conversation going on in my mind, that what could be done, should I end it, should I not, if I don't end my life, how can I change my situation.
Right.
So I saw the trail of ants going on, like maybe as you might see that like ants follow a straight line, they follow leader. Some of the ants were actually carrying a heavy load, and they were going in a straight path going on. And then even when there was some, even I actually put the finger so blocking their way, they did not give up, they actually changed the path. And when just observing this, it got me thinking, and I said, I think that when even there is a path given to us, maybe we have the chance to change it. And then it all occurred to me that maybe I am actually the in charge of my life. I am in charge of my destiny. So that point in time when it occurred to me, it's something I said, oh my God, this is what I think I was missing in my life. That I thought that all these circumstances are controlling my life, all these people are controlling my life. But then I realized, no, actually it is me that who is in control. And that time when I realized it, I was just in I was very young at that time. I was just like doing, I just finished my college at that
Hmm.
time, and I was just started doing my master's. And then I thought that I think people need to know this, because I thought that.
Mm.
And then at that point in time, I changed my thinking. So like, I think this is all in my mind. It's all in my thinking. When I will change it, I will change my circumstances as well. I will do it, because at that point in time, I just realized that it's not anything else in control. It's only me. But at that point in time, I was so young. I thought that I nobody would listen to me,
Right.
even if I say that.
Mm.
And the people need some credibility that who is saying that. So at that point in time, and as I told you, that we were not financially very stable. We need something, I
Right.
and in my the family or in my friend circle, nobody has ever written a book. So at that point in time, I decided that I will write a book. but then I gave myself time that I will like to establish my career, and being a female, and I like from the Eastern culture, there is a lot of pressure on females as well, that to get married, to have family, to produce kids, and
Right.
all these things, and the same pressure I also had, and if I had worked on my dream at that time, like, oh, of course, people were telling me that I cannot do this. Even if I shared some idea, my idea of writing book, and people condemned me, said, like, look at you. First of all, I was so young. Secondly, I was a female, and then and thirdly, like, I wanted to write a book, which they never even had thought about it. So they criticized me heavily. They said, no, you cannot do it. So, like, considering all these criticism, everything, I said, okay, I'm gonna prove them wrong, but I need a proper strategy. So I planned my life in a way that I will, I will just show them that, okay, I am, look, like, I will get married, I will have kids, I will have established career, and then I will prove them that, I written a book finally. So that's why I gave myself 20 years to actually, to deal with all these societal pressure, to criticism, and even during those 20 years, like, because as I told you, in my surrounding, there was no one who could actually think of such idea, the concept that I wanted to share about the destiny, about the fate. They used to tell me that I'm kind of some dreamer, or maybe some, like, a person who has some crazy thoughts. So that was this thing that, and it several time I used to think that I think I am a crazy person, and I think that nobody will listen to me, or but something that deep inside me telling me, because I had written my purpose, that I want to help people who might be going through the same depression, who might be going through the same period of challenges. When they will read my concept about the book, about the destiny and the fate, it will help them. And that purpose kept me motivated, kept me going all through the difficult times, challenges. And even when the people were coming to me and saying that you can't do it, and saying some all rubbish thing about me, like, they said I cannot write, I cannot even speak, or whatnot. So, but that kept me going. So that is in brief
Yeah, I mean,
the journey of 20
that's
years.
a huge part, and I just like to kind of interject here, if I could, that the all of these, what I just heard from you is that you had all of these, what I'll call external voices, people all around you for a whole bunch of reasons, long list of reasons, saying you can't do it, you shouldn't do it, this isn't for you, it's not normal, maybe that type of thing. But the one voice, your inner voice, actually won that little battle that was kind of going on there and kept you going, and that inner voice was your purpose. Did I summarize that the right way?
Yes, yes, absolutely. And that's what the exact message that I wanted to give to the reader of my book,
Hmm.
that you need to believe in yourself, like, no matter what people are saying. They may be saying that they are crazy, they may be saying that their ideas wouldn't work, but we need to be, we need to believe in ourselves that yes, we can do it. And
Right.
then when you have that kind of belief, the opinion of others won't matter at all.
Exactly. And
So
I think that that's, in other words, for those of you watching this, never give up. Ambreen just gave you the reason why you should never give up. And we all have the capability to have that belief. And that belief, period, is the reason why you should never give up. So the next time you hear the phrase, never give up, now you know why. Because you have that belief inside of you, that purpose that will continue to burn as long as that heart is beating. Okay, you can do it. Good.
yeah,
That's
absolutely.
powerful, Ambreen. What an inspirational story. So 20 years, you get through this. you picked up, you also did some university lectures and you did all sorts of things along the way. I think you tested
Yeah.
some of the things that you write about in your book. Could you give us an example of one or two of those things that you tested? And then I really want to dive into what can this book do for people?
Yeah, sure. Uh, Actually, as I told you that like 20 years ago, I created a strategy that, how would I write a book in these 20 years? Like, especially first of all, how to deal with the societal pressure as many of you know that I had to get married, I had to do like produce kids, and I, to all these society to deal with all these societal pressure. Secondly, of course, I had to create my brand or personal brand, so people, even if I write book, people should listen to me. So that was one reason that I started writing articles. And my first article was published in Dawn in 2002. So that was the beginning of the journey. I would say that, when I started writing and I wanted to establish myself as an author. And of course, along with that, I started giving lectures also in universities and in different institutes. The reason why, again, same, because I wanted to establish myself as a credible person. Because when I set the goal of writing a book, what was missing was, or what was lacking was, that I felt that I was too young and people would not listen to me, and that was I'm missing. So, and whatever the criticism I got, even from the people when I shared my idea, so I took it positively. I know that people would not believe me, or people would not listen to me, or listen to any person who wouldn't who they would not trust. So how to create that trust? I started writing, and of course, I started giving lecture, and of course, I started giving counseling to the people, because the more I got to know that what people are suffering from, and that's being an empath. I actually, whenever I actually see someone who is in trouble, I actually could feel their pain, and I just have this urge to help them. It's doesn't like I don't um, expect anything in return from them, but all I want is to actually help them out, so have they can actually deal with all the the problems that they are going through in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just this is, I would say, my nature, or my human personality type, that I wanted to help people.
Right, exactly. And there's a lot of people in today's world for different reasons, and I don't want to stereotype it, but COVID has created a lot of anxiety in ways that I think has kind of really increased the spotlight on mental health and issues that have come on along the way. So I know that you started, helping people with this, and you talked about part of your own journey where you were suicidal at one point. You had those thoughts, and I know that you've helped so many other people, and there's a lot of people today that need help as well. Tell us a bit about the algorithm of life now, the book, and then maybe you could talk for a moment about how this book could help somebody turn around their view that maybe they're having suicidal thoughts, or thinking that there's just the sun's not going to come up in the future. Maybe you could talk about that for a few minutes.
Sure, sure. The main concept about the book is how you actually can take charge of your destiny, and that was that was the main point that gave me the hope to um, to live, and that is exactly the message I wanted to give through this book. I wanted to give them hope, give hope to the people, that whoever is reading it, that they can take charge of their destiny. And as I mentioned earlier, that I used to read palm a lot, and when I used to predict that people that's going to happen in their lives, and it used to happen the same way, and that got me thinking that how they can take charge of life if there's something that is not even written in their palms. If something is bad going to happen, how they can avoid it. And But my concept in this book, that what I have given, is that they can avoid any bad thing that they don't want in their life. Even if it's written in their destiny, they can choose to avoid it, or they can choose their life in a way they want.
Mm.
So my concept in the book is that I will give uh, the example of
Yes.
Shakespeare drama,
Mm.
which, as you like it, where he said that Shakespeare said that, this world is a stage, and all of us, like, are here as a character, and we have certain role to play in this. So this world is a stage, and we as a character come into this world, play a role, and exit. Here my concept is, like, I've taken this idea from Shakespeare, and my point of view, I added my point of view, is that yes, everything is written exactly the way God has designed, right? It's just like the movie is written already. There are characters already, like, they could be someone who who has a role to play for a villain. There is a role for someone to play as hero. So there is a role for someone to play as a side character or
Mm.
something, right? The story is already written, but we have a choice to select or choose our character, if in that story. So my concept is just like there are these, like, the tracks, the destiny, that the fate that I was given is just like a train tracks, right? So this train track is starting from point A and is ending from to point B.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was given a track, a destiny, or a fate of a track A, it's gonna go the same path, and all the events, circumstances, conditions, whatever, like, the people will meet, everything's gonna happen the same way as it is meant to be, as it is written.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like the train track is going, and as the Shakespeare said, that this is the written in the same way. Like the the drama is already written, the story is already written, and these characters. But how can you change the track? It's like
Right.
something you cannot change, the circumstances, you cannot change the events if you are on the track A, right? Because it is going to be that way. But what the choice we have is we can change the track,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, all the destinies are there. These are thousands of tracks given. It's already written in this story, and we have to change the track. And how we can change the track is through the power of thoughts. I would say that the only thing that we have in control we is our thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
and the power to take decision, of course, because thoughts give us the power. And why am I saying that we can change, we have we have the only thing we have in control is the thoughts, is because thoughts can not only change this physiology, internal physiology, but it has the power to create entanglement. Like, for example, if you uh, keep on thinking about, like, let's say, positive thoughts, or you have positive thoughts, you focus on the good things, your internal physiology of the brain changes. And that is the proven, of course, science proves that thoughts create the certain neural paths, and that neural path is physiological change in the brain.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, thoughts are not only create neural paths. It also, it's a form of energy. When there's a thoughts, when we have some certain thoughts, it creates the synaptic reactions, creates some sort of energy, and that energy is actually is capable of creating quantum entanglement. And those who know that quantum entanglement is the is something that you that these thoughts actually creates energy, and that energy creates certain frequency, and that frequency is emitted, right? And then it's sent to the universe. And those the events that was supposed to happen in the track B, you attract those events in your life. That's how you change the track. And that's how, like, for example, you must have noticed that when you start to you have certain purpose, or you decided to do something, you start meeting people from that
Right.
field, or you start seeing things, that you see that these things of miracles start happening. And those, because you are sending signal to the universe, and then you are attracting the events that may be not for you, for your destiny, but you are actually catching those signals and changing your path. And that's why you see lots of time you might not be expecting something, and you out of nowhere you will meet someone who can take you to the purpose that or whatever you've decided. That person will take you to your destination that you decided for yourself. So this is the power of thoughts. And and then how you can just do that. First of all, you need to realize your purpose, because if you don't know where you're going, then these thoughts will be attracting random events. If you, for example, so once you know what your purpose is, and you're sending the same signals over and over again to the universe, it will take you to the destiny that you want. So that's how you want to do.
Right.
Here I also want to point
Sure.
out that these are the events that will attract your thoughts in your life, could be positive and could be not very desired as well. Like, for example, you may witness, let's say you won lottery or something, but on the other hand, you may experience some traumatic event, but that event is the one that actually is needed to change your track. That's why we need to trust the process, because if you have realized your purpose, you know that you're going to get it. You need to have a belief. You keep on sending signal to the universe that you want that. But if you're not getting it, if you're getting rejection, or if you're getting some traumatic event, that is the time you need to be patient. You need to trust the process, that it is going to take you to your destination. You just need to follow your purpose. And that is what that and you need to realize that, for example, if, let's say, if I wanted to be, let's say, a keynote speaker, but if I have written that I want to go and study in Harvard University, and if I don't get the chance to study in Harvard University, I get the rejection. But I need to realize that maybe this is not what is meant to take me to this event, the enrollment to Harvard University may not give me the chance to achieve my goal. So we need to trust the process if you have realized your purpose. But if you have not realized your purpose, this is going to be very random, because if someone else had the strong desire, they can push you to other track, and then one day you may achieve a lot of success, or maybe like random event, maybe you may win lottery or something, and the other day you may suffer something else. So that's how you can be in charge of your destiny, that you need to realize your purpose, and you need to be consistently sending the signal to the universe to attract whatever you want.
Right.
So that's a very, very brief way.
No, I think
to
that's
brief.
fascinating, and I have some comments. Before I do that, I just want to acknowledge a few people that have tuned in here. We have some people from the great country of Iran here. We have Hadi here, who is an HSE expert from Iran. We have Dr. Riza Raimi from Tehran as well. We have Carol White from one of my favorite countries that I've spent a lot of time in, Zimbabwe, down in southern Africa. We have Jasmine from Stockholm, Sweden here as well. Jasmine, thank you. You're on here every week. Really appreciate that. We have Dee Powers from New York City, New York here as well, tuning in live. And we have Kenneth. Kenneth, hello, from another one of my favorite countries, the Diamond Country, Botswana, is here as well. And I've spent a lot of time there. And we have Prabudi here from North Sumatra, Indonesia, another one of my favorite countries as well. And we have Mr. Bill Dolan here. Bill just popped in, and Bill, great to have you here as well. Ambreen, I know you know Bill Dolan as well, and actually
Yeah,
these
he's one of my
these other
favorite too.
people. So that's
Yeah.
fantastic. So Ambreen, and again, for those of you watching live, please tee up any questions or comments you have about anything that Ambreen is telling us about. So, so what I've heard so far about the algorithm of life, just for the audience to sum up here, is that the tracks of your destinies, they're already laid out. Okay, and human beings play a role on some of those tracks. And if you're on a destiny, track A, let's say, but that is misaligned with your purpose, you can change the track and change your destiny. But the what I heard is that the premise for that is that you must know what your purpose is. Ambreen, I know a lot of people that don't know what their purpose is. And so they're kind of,
Yeah.
these are great people with a kind heart, and they're not real happy. And it could be, I'm not going to speculate why, maybe you could, you're more qualified than I am, why they're not happy, but they just don't seem to have a purpose. Could you comment on that for a moment? And what would your advice be to people that have yet to find their purpose?
Yes, it's a very good question, and it is one of my favorite also, because there's only 1% in the entire world who have realized their purpose. So that's you can see that why a lot of people are not happy, why a lot of people are depressed, because they don't know from deep down that what they want out of life. Purpose, I would say, is something that gives you a, a motivation to wake up every day with enthusiasm, that this is a, and no matter what sort of circumstances you feel, no matter what sort of people come into your life and say that you cannot do it, that purpose wins every time, like something that gives you, that's a spark in your life that you look up to, that okay, this is what you want to do. I would give the example of Viktor Frankl, who has gone through the Holocaust, who survived Holocaust, because he has the purpose. Again, he also has the purpose to write that book, and that's why I found him so close to my heart, because when I read his book, it's amazing that if you have the purpose, it can actually give you a life, a real life. That is, I feel that that purpose gives the meaning to your life, that okay, that's why you are living in this world. What keeps you going. So it's not something that you will find out very next day. Okay, that's it is. I've written also in the book that purpose is something that you need to have, you need to find through the journey. And that journey is like, when you don't go outside, you go inside, you find out, you connect yourself, you connect with yourself and find out what is your inner personality, what do you want, not the other person, not people around you that telling you. The main dilemma of the current society is that people, a lot of people just give them the path, a certain path, that is how they need to live in this world. Like very simple formula for everyone, like they need to study, they need to graduate, they need to get some good marks, uh, and then get a good job from maybe like a very high profile company, and that's it. That is the definition of success defined by our society. But as you know, one formula doesn't fit all.
Right?
Like everyone has different personality
Absolutely.
types, everyone has different interest in this world. So they need to find out what gives them excitement. Just connect with yourself, meditate, and just disconnect from the outside world and connect with yourself, and that is how you will find out what keeps you alive, what is something that you want in life. I think I'm the right advice. I can go on and on about this
Yeah, no,
purpose.
I think that's yeah, because I have found, I mean, I know for myself, it took a couple of decades well into my life to kind of understand what my purpose was. And I had career ambitions, I had financial goals, I had all of this stuff as well, but it was empty. It was an empty tank. And then, I met my wife and everything changed, at that point. And I determined that, my purpose in life was to use my experiences to impact other people in a positive way, similar to what you're doing with the book, albeit it's a bit different. But it took me a long time to learn that, Ambreen, and that before then, I would do my job, I'd do a great job, and I would build a network, have a lot of, amazing friends, associates, and everything. But there was just something kind of empty inside of me, and it took a long time. So I just like to encourage everybody watching this, if you haven't found your purpose, keep searching and follow the advice that Ambreen just gave, because it's there. You can find it. It's not something that you know that you're going to live the rest of your life without, but you've got to pay attention. You've got to go on the hunt for it and find it, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think,
absolutely.
yeah, that's so important. I'd like to
Yeah.
welcome Regina Hutchings here from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in the United States. And Regina, thank you for tuning in as well. And it's fantastic. And Bree, let's continue on with this
Yeah.
as well. So let's say that I find my purpose, and I thought my destiny was to do something, um, and I need to change the tracks because I'm currently on a track that is just, I get up every day, I watch TV, I cook the meals and everything, make a phone call or two, and then the next thing it's just rinse and repeat. It's just kind
Yeah.
of the same thing the next day, and I just kind of feel. And then when I look back, okay, I see everybody making New Year's resolutions, what they're going to do, and I'm scratching my head saying, well, I'm just going to kind of keep doing what I'm doing, but I don't really feel fulfilled. How do I switch that track?
Yeah, yeah, that's a very, very good question. And I'm glad that you asked it. Actually, a lot of people are going through the same pattern of life, right? As you mentioned, that they wake up, they go to office, and then they do their work. They achieve their career targets, they achieve their financial goals, but deep down they're empty. And that's what exactly we see even with the very famous celebrities, very high achieving people, and they commit suicide because they are not happy with themselves because they don't know why they're doing it. One thing, as Brett has mentioned, that that they you mentioned that that your purpose, you realize that you wanted to keep impact, you wanted to help people around you, and exactly that's what I feel also, that I want to help people. And I met several successful people and who have realized their purpose, and I found one common theme in all these, that they wanted to give, they wanted to give people. Here, what I feel that human nature is that they're searching for basically love outside, right? One thing human nature is, or human personality is, is governed by this basic instinct that they're seeking love. And
Mm,
here is the, in my opinion, here is the misalignment alignment of all the equation, that when people say that search for love or search for your purpose, what do people do not understand is, the misunderstanding here is that they think that what they want to achieve, or to which give them happiness, right? But equation is actually works in reverse way. It's not something that you are looking for to get. When you are looking for love, the need for love is basically to give, it's not to receive. Excuse me. when you start giving love, when you start giving knowledge, when you start giving people love or knowledge, this is how you actually receive in return. So as you know, like, how you can switch the track is basically you need to change your thinking in a way that, you don't want it. The search that you are searching for, the whatever you're looking for is not something that you wanted to receive. It's it's the other way around. It's something that you need to give. And that is how you would find out that how you can actually change your destiny. Because when you start thinking that how I can be rich, how I can do this, how I can achieve a lot of material things or something, no, it's not gonna work. Because again, you will be stuck in the same circle, this vicious circle, that you'll get up everything, you will chase money, you will do this. No, it's not gonna work. It has to be reversed. You need to look deep down, look at yourself, that how you can actually give. And that is how you would feel more satisfied. And in fact, I was talking to someone the other day, that this, I think that God has made us that way. Maybe
Mhm.
that is that this, for the survival of our species, that when we help others, that is how we will survive. Otherwise, this humanity, this human race will extinct. So I think the
Mhm.
main purpose for everyone is basically that how they can give, how they can add value to other people's life. And that is
Right.
what, then you will realize that what you are good at. Because when you will just keep on thinking that how you can earn money to be like, let's say, maybe you can go
Yeah.
into artistry, or maybe you can go in the field of fashion designing, or any field. You, if
Mhm.
your goal is to just receive, it's not going to work, and you will
Not going to
always
work.
feel
Right.
emptiness
Mhm.
inside. It has to be other way around. It has to be like how you can add value, how you can give to the people, how you can help people around. And that
Right.
is when you would feel more satisfied. It's not something that you want out of it. You
Uh,
attract what you want to give. Yeah.
eh, That's the point. It reminds me of something that everybody knows. I grew up in the kind of the 1970s. I was a little kid then, and my dad said something back then that still resonates with me, and this has driven his advice a large part of my global success in leading large teams of people, and that is about radio. He said, this is what he told me. He said, Brett, it's just amazing. There are thousands of radio, and this is before the internet, computers. So everybody needs to understand the context here. Radio was like one of the main, channels for consumption at that point in time. He said, Brett, it's amazing. There's thousands of radio signals falling in our backyard right now. All we need to do is install an antenna and connect it to the receiver, and we can enjoy those radio stations. And this is the same thing that you just spoke about, Ambreen. Is it money is not something you chase. You can't chase those radio signals because
Yeah.
you're going to be chasing forever, right? What you need to do is install that antenna and attract those signals. And what is that antenna? It is serving others, including yourself. I would argue, you have to serve yourself before you can serve others. And if you do that, you'll attract that. Money works the same way. Money
Yeah.
is flying all around us right now. And basically, if you can develop the skills, you'll attract it. And that is your antenna to do it that way. So I think that that's a very powerful point for people that are constantly chasing money. Scammers, fraudsters,
Yes.
everybody that knows me knows that I'm on a warpath against them. Okay, because they are always chasing something because they haven't found their purpose, and they always will be chasing something
Yeah.
until something changes, right? They're kind of on the track to that they're going to fall off a cliff at some
Yeah,
point. And the thing is, a scammer, a fraudster, they're never happy. Have you noticed that they never smile?
absolutely.
It's just amazing. And that's the reason why you said it. So don't chase things in life. Don't chase anything in life, right? Don't chase your dreams.
Yeah.
Don't pursue your dreams. What you do is you find your purpose, and you will attract, these things that come on board. So I think that's a wonderful point that you raised, Ambreen. Thank you for that as well.
Thank you.
Um, uh, I want to talk about a topic as we start to wind down. We've got about 8 minutes left. Um, eh, eh, the topic of instant gratification, especially with the younger generations, and it's really amplified in the United States, but it exists everywhere, in the world where people, my generation again, borderline baby boomer, Gen X. That's me. Okay, I'm 59 years old. For those of you that don't know, maybe a little old fashioned, but when a movie came out when I was growing up, I would have to wait oftentimes weeks or months, and I'd have to go to the theater. Now, when a movie comes out, people can watch it on their phone,
Yeah.
and it's instant gratification. The other thing that's instant gratification, you're in Saudi Arabia right now. I'm in the United States right now. We're talking live in real time with great people from Iran, from Indonesia. It's just absolutely amazing. It's instant gratification, right? That way as well. We have people from the younger generations that have only grown up with this, and they haven't grown up having to wait. And then they enter the workforce, which is a very much a profits driven Wall Street mentality type of thing. And they get in their job, they have their degree, they have unfortunately their large student loan, and they're ready to get to work. And they want to make an impact because they've been told that their mission in life should be to make an impact. So they get in their job, and they apply for it, they're hired, they're getting paid, and after about 3 months, maybe 6 months, they say, wow, I'm not making an impact, and I just got some feedback, and it wasn't so good. They didn't tell me about this, and they didn't teach me in school that they taught me in school I get a trophy for effort, not for an outcome. And I didn't get a trophy for the first time in my life. What's going on here? I quit
Yes.
because I didn't get the gratification. Now, unfortunately, this has led to a lot of people thinking about, when it compounds over a couple of years, people thinking about, not only am I going to quit, but I'm worthless. You know, I'm just not getting the stuff that I was taught for all these years, and I got this big student loan. Maybe life isn't worth it. I don't know if you've run across such people. I have, as well. Can you comment on how we can help people with an expectation of instant gratification when the real world doesn't deliver that?
Yeah, that's a brilliant question. And first of all, I would also like to say that your example about the antenna and radio was wonderful. I mean, it explained the concept so well that I think that I'm sure audience must have got the idea very clearly. Okay, now coming back to the question, that instant gratification, that's the main dilemma. And I have also experienced a lot of people around me, especially the younger generation, even my kids, they cannot wait because of they have been constantly bombarded by these stimulus, that all the information, they have been raised in a way that they think that whatever they do, they will get the result instantly, and they don't have the habit of patience or of waiting for something that to achieve the result or the desired result, I would say. So the main thing, in my opinion, what they can do is, uh, they need to just take some time off from these gadgets or these information, because I feel the information bombardment is too much on their minds, which stop their thinking, because they constantly thinking, and they're constantly thinking about other things, that how they can do this, how they can do this. They need to disconnect for some time. Maybe they need to practice some not even meditation, they just need to disconnect from the constant bombardment of in information, maybe social media, TV or internet or whatever it is, and they need to
Yep.
connect with the people, not the one who are their colleagues, but with their friends. Where I was going to, like, there was a study that, that shows that how many people have their friends in their life, where they can actually share their true feelings, and more than 50% said that they have none with whom they can share their feelings or something. And that is how build up, because the only gratification they want is basically from the achievements that they think, because as I mentioned earlier also, that the human personality or human nature is actually governed by one instinct, that they are looking for love. Whatever, like, things you do, the main purpose is to maybe attract attention of the people, or you think that this will give you the love, the actually love. But here, the main problem with the younger generation, that they are also not connected with other people. The sense of belongingness is not. So the what they think is that when they will achieve and they perform something, people will get some. They will attract attention of people. They will get love. This is how I feel, that that's why they feel impatient, because the only sense of gratification they get is through the achievements. But
Right.
then they
Hmm.
need to actually connect with the people. They need to have someone in their life. If they cannot have, if they don't have anyone, they need to have some professional people around them who can guide them. And that is what missing in today's generation. They don't know, because the only
Right.
thing, they have is they study, they and then they go to career, and then that is their life revolves around their career. They go to office, they don't have anyone else to talk about their feeling. They think that colleagues are there and they can help them out, and when they fail in that, they
Right.
think that they are failing in life. So my
Absolutely. And
advice to all that they need to connect, have that connection, human bond is very important.
yeah, I think that's, thank you for that. I think that I just like to add to that. There's a lesson in here for leaders as well. And if you're a leader and you're hearing this, okay, it is incumbent upon leaders to understand that you're responsible. Let me use, I tend to use very simple analogies in life so people get it. There are a couple of different kinds of fish. There's a saltwater fish and freshwater fish. Okay. And I think everybody knows this in Brett's simplified world, that freshwater fish don't do very well in saltwater and vice
Yeah.
versa. If you're a leader, okay, don't just change out the fish and say, okay, well, this is salt water. I only want freshwater fish. So these younger generation coming in that want instant gratification, I can't help you with this. That's the wrong approach. And that's what's happening now in the United States, which has caused a big part of the great resignation, which is basically people saying, hey, you want instant gratification? Well, you're going to have to work here for 5 or 10 years. That's the
Yeah.
wrong attitude.
Yeah.
So, what a great leader does, they change the water. They change the water where, okay, instead of just pure salt water, maybe because it's always been that way, people like Brett, maybe what they need to do with all of their wonderful experiences, kind of understand, okay, well, somebody from the younger generation, they're not going to do very well in salt water. So maybe I need to kind of have a hybrid fish tank, right? Where I can bring the people along well. Don't just reject them, and kick them out, right? Because I tell you what, I look to the younger generation, Ambreen, to learn all sorts of stuff today. I
Absolutely.
mean, they have so much they can bring to the table, but the people that I go to have the two key elements of performance. One is an attitude, a good attitude, and number two is a hard work ethic. Okay, and if they
Yeah.
have those two things, I open my door, let them in. Okay,
Yeah.
so I think that there's a leadership lesson. We don't have time to really dive deep into that fish tank now, but it's not just for individuals. And Bree's advice is for the younger generations: network. Okay, get that human connection. Sometimes you need to get offline, okay, to do it that way. Networking isn't just in the digital, is just a platform, okay,
Yeah.
for helping people, engage with one another. But human to human engagement. We're not saying throw away your phone, but we are saying, you know, turn it off, put it in airplane mode for a while. Okay, set it down. I know you might have withdrawal symptoms, but set that phone down and do something social. And I would just add, Ambreen, to your advice that I would advise the younger generation to also connect with people from different generations outside of the office.
Yeah.
Okay, because I think that's so important as well, because that will give you a diverse perspective. And I'd also, speaking of diversity, I would connect with people from outside of your own country because
Yeah.
you can learn. And today, we've talked about it here, instant gratification. You can reach out and connect with somebody from Saudi Arabia. You can the places that I've lived: Dubai, Singapore 3 times, Tokyo, Japan. Work across 12 countries in Asia, Southern Africa. Reach out to people in different countries. If I can do it, I'm a guy from Oklahoma in the United States, a teeny tiny small town. All of you can do it as well. So there's a couple of ideas for the younger generation. It's a deep topic, but you can do something about that, because otherwise, what I see happening for the younger generation that's not doing this, and you're exiting the workforce, sitting on the sidelines and as part of the great resignation and waiting for leadership to change, you're going to be waiting for a long time because the real world doesn't work like that. So do something about it. Diversify your networks as well. Michelle Soul, thank you so much. Mentorship and guidance are so important. Everybody, to Michelle's point, everybody that I know that has had success, and this message is also for the younger generation as well, has had a mentor. The way I see it, if Tiger Woods needs a mentor, so does Brett Packard. So does
Yeah.
Ambreen Nadeem. So does Michelle Soul,
Yeah.
right? So I think if you look at elite performers, mentors can really give you a unique perspective on your life. And a mentor is not your boss. Okay, it's not your. It might be a former boss, but it is somebody that you can talk to in a safe environment about your long-term goals. So we'll save that for another topic as well. Thank you, Michelle, for that. So, Ambreen, any before we sign off, any parting words of advice for anybody? And then I'd also like for you to tell us where people can get your book.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And the last words I would say, like the parting words, would be that always believe in yourself. Like because that's what that's what worked for me, and I believe it. If it can work for me, then definitely it can work for you. That no matter what people say to you, it's not something that you need to just outrightly reject them. Take their advice, even if it's a criticism. It's a very bad criticism, but take take it in a positive way. But uh, don't always think that you are not good enough to follow your dream, or you are not enough. It's always that you have everything you want in your life. It's just that you need to believe in yourself and go for whatever you have dreamed, no matter what people say that you can't do it. But I'm telling you that you can do it. Always believe in self.
Wow.
That's I would say simple.
How's
Yeah.
that for some Friday inspiration here? So to the global audience. So that is absolutely wonderful. That belief will keep you going. And remember what we spoke about earlier in this broadcast is that whenever you feel like giving up, know that as long as your heart is beating, that belief gives you a shot. Okay. And so keep that belief. Ambreen, wonderful advice. Where can people get your book?
Yeah, my book is available on Amazon,
Yep.
so they can just write the algorithm of life, and they can just get it. Or if they need any help, they can just message me on inbox, LinkedIn, or I'm also on like Insta, Twitter, so they can
Yep.
find me anywhere, and then I can help them out.
Yeah, make sure all of you, for those of you on LinkedIn, follow Ambreen on LinkedIn, but also Instagram, Twitter. She's all over the place. So am I. So please make sure you do that. She's a wonderful human being and brilliant, very very smart
Thank
and
you.
very very diverse. Ambreen, I'm as I mentioned before, I'm highly impressed with your journey as a person. I'm highly impressed with what has kept you going 20 years intentionally to write a book.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people I know, it might take them 20 years to write a book, but that wasn't intentional. They just they just weren't able
Yeah.
to get it done, and yours was
Yeah.
intentional. And this book, The Algorithm of Life, is rock solid as a result. It's authentic. So, Ambreen, thank you
Thank you.
very much for coming on the program today. I'd like to thank all of you that tuned in live and those of you watching on replay. My apologies again for the technical difficulty at the beginning, but we'll make sure that hopefully that doesn't happen again. And I look forward to next week here on the Packard Network Live. The cameras are going to shift from the Middle East back to New York, New York. And I have a very unique individual that's going to come on and inspire us with some very unique perspectives on being an entrepreneur. So we'll look forward to that next week. And with that, I wish everybody a very happy Friday. For those of you celebrating, happy St. Patrick's Day. Get your green. This tie was the closest thing I had to green today. It's not really green. I know that. Somebody already let me know that. But anyway, I'm in the spirit, and I wish all of you celebrating a happy St. Patrick's Day. So happy Friday.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me and giving me opportunity to speak
You're
about my
welcome.
book and my journey. And thank you everyone for joining, and have a